Welcome, brothers, to another Warhammer video. It's been a while since I actually recorded. It's been a few days. But yeah, today I'm wearing my Lakers jersey over a t-shirt because I'm not ripped enough to be wearing it without a t-shirt. But that's besides the point. Today we're checking out 40k lore, the Abhumans right Arch Warhammer. This was a request and it was requested like quite a while ago, and so I'm getting to it now. 20-minute video, man. And yeah, I have a few announcements before we get into this, ladies and gentlemen. Number one, I made the Discord. It's in progress. It's almost done. I've been working on it just before this for about an hour and a half. I've like defined everything. I'm gonna make a little separate video for anyone. Like it'll be 2 minutes. We'll do that. You can probably join when this video goes up. There'll be a link, so anyone interested can join the Discord now. And yeah, you guys have wanted it. You guys asked for it, so yeah, I've made it. Hopefully you guys enjoy the Discord. Hopefully you make new friends, whatever, all that good stuff. Also, someone brought to attention in the comment section the other day that we're kind of getting soon enough to the end of the Warhammer, like reactions. Like he said, basically in a few months, maybe a month or two, at the rate we're going, we're probably going to run out of solid, good Warhammer content to watch. And I agree with that statement. We will eventually run out of Warhammer stuff to watch. There's obviously some other requests people have done, but I don't get nearly as many requests for other content as I do for Warhammer. So you guys have a think. We'll definitely discuss it in the Discord about other things we can do on the channel. I just wanted to say that almost at 500k, almost at 500 subscribers. So yeah, very grateful for that, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're at 496 right now. But yeah, without further ado and any more talking, we're gonna get into this video. Oh yeah, I also want to try and change my camera angle, but really and truly I can't, so you know, it's a sticky one. Let me know if you'd be interested in me trying to switch up the angle, because this angle's kind of trash. But then again,
greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back to more Warhammer 40k lore, where today we are going to be talking about the disgusting, filthy abhuman scum. Granted, they're not quite as filthy and disgusting as mutant scum, but
goddamn mutants.
It's pretty goddamn close.
This man spit on them, bro. Alright, watch Warhammer, bro. You need to chill.
But, I hear you yelp, is there even a difference? Very, very good question. Very good question indeed. Personally, I think we should just exterminate the lot of them and clean out the human gene pool, but sadly, my more rational and frankly compassionate ideas have been rejected on this matter, and we're just going to have to suffer their existence. It really is tragic, but there you are. So, the difference between an abhuman and a filthier, dirtier mutant is that an abhuman is a relatively stable form of mutation. And we also...
That Frodo! What the hell? He looks like a hobbit, bro. He actually looks like a hobbit. Say nothing, he looks like a hobbit. He's got hairy feet and all. He's got big feet and he looks like a... Right, he might be a giant, actually, judging by perspective. I don't know.
Subdivide the term mutation into two different categories. Natural mutations, as in the case of the Beastmen, and yeah, they do actually exist in 40k, and they are also loyal. Well, for the most time anyways, and even the most time is arguable. Anyways, moving on. And biologically engineered mutations, as is the case with the Afriel strain. These, of course, are large swaths of a population that have been genetically engineered for one purpose or another, be it to be better warriors or to simply be better adapted at living in the environment they are currently residing in. Both of them are considered abhumans if they are stable genetic variants upon baseline humanity. In other words, they were at one point a mutation or a genetical engineering, but these days they are capable of procreating and recreating said mutations in their offspring. This is why, whilst the Adeptus Astartes would technically fall under the biologically engineered category, they are not considered abhumans because, of course, they can't procreate, and as such, they cannot continue to create new stable mutants.
Someone was telling me, like when I asked on the best jobs, like the video on best jobs, they were like, I was like, well, what job would you want? And then some guy was like, yeah, I would be what Primus is, like the Blade Master, because he was like, I would be drowning in female genitalia. Don't know if I'm allowed to say that word, but you know, it's fine. And then, you know, I pointed out, you know, Space Marines can't really get any, so yeah, it's a sticky one for him. But, you know, shout out Space Marines.
There are currently 73 stable abhuman strains blighting Imperial records, of which 46, luckily, has been wiped from existence.
Hey.
And a further 12 have either been wiped out and Imperial bureaucracy simply hasn't caught up to the fact yet, or been integrated along with the rest of the Imperial population to the point where they are no longer a truly unique breed. This can happen in two different ways. Either the stable mutant breed is getting outbred by the human population, essentially a filthy, dirty, horrible mutant has sex with an actual, pure, proper human. Why anyone would do such a horrible thing is beyond me, but hey, and they create an actual human child. This can then eventually lead to the death, quote-unquote, of the unique strain. Another possibility is that they used to have a status somewhat separate to the Imperium, as was, for example, with the example of the Squats, who, after having lost their homeworlds, got integrated along with the wider Imperium and simply became normal, regular Imperial citizens.
I have something to say on this. So abhumans are obviously humans with mutations, so therefore they can have children with regular humans, right? Just sounds a bit racist right now, the way they treat abhumans, but I guess it's the way it goes, Also, I heard something a while back that I think it was Chinese people. Because obviously they mainly breed inside their own culture, right? Chinese people mainly have children with other Chinese people. Apparently, if it keeps going the way it is, eventually Chinese people won't be able to have children with other races or other parts of the world. In fact, that's what I heard. Because obviously they consistently, their gene line is kind of departing in a way. You know what I mean? It's kind of leaving. I'm trying to go PC, trying to describe this because somebody will always get offended. But who cares? Yeah, basically, if Chinese people can continue the way they are, apparently they will deviate, and yeah, other people won't be able to have children with them in the future. Probably quite a while in the future, but still.
Or, well, kinda. We'll get into the whole citizen thing in a moment. The remaining strains of abhumans that we know of, then, are the Afriel strain, Beastmen, Gland Warriors, Nightsiders, Ogrons, Rattlings, Scalies, Squats, Troths, Pelagiers, Felinids, and Neandors. There are a couple more that are doubtful, kinda. For example, the Goliath House in Necromunda is by many considered to be an abhuman species, as they are primarily vat-grown, which states that they are a relatively stable form of mutation that is supposedly also capable of procreation. I think it's probably a bit of a technicality. I personally wouldn't label them abhumans because they are more grown rather than bred most of the time, but again, technicality. Another one would be the Longshanks, which we heard about during the War of the Beasts, but it is unclear whether or not they were wiped out during that war, or if they still exist. And of course, we have one further example of a rather fascinating little species, the Navigators. The very self-same psychics who guide the Imperium starships through the void. They are, technically, an abhuman species known as Homo Navigo.
So psychers are also abhumans. I have to say, this art picture, I'm assuming someone done it for him, man. That's kind of cool. I need to get better art for my channel. My channel art sucks. I'll be real. I need to actually get some channel art. I might have to go and pay someone to make me art. Because, like, I'm sure you can judge by my thumbnails. I'm not artistically gifted. You know what I'm saying? Wait, we'll continue.
It is a very, very, very unique and particular form of abhuman that is fully sanctioned within the Imperium and are given, well, considerable rights and incredible amounts of wealth because, well, without them, the Imperium literally could not function. This means that they have avoided most of the problems that the rest of the abhumans have. And this, of course, returns us quite neatly to the question of citizenship. The Imperium, as most of you already know, is a rather...
It isn't the Emperor a psycho? So is he an abhuman? Technically, they all are. If they can procreate. Who knows if the Emperor could have kids, you know what I'm saying? No one knows. But I'd say with Primarchs, you know, wouldn't they all be abhuman too? If they could reproduce, they would. I don't know if they can. I don't know if they're the same as Space Marines in that regard, you know.
intolerant society, shall we say. They're not particularly fond of everything that isn't human, and whilst abhumans are, technically speaking, recognized subhuman strains, it's not really good enough, is it? And thusly they are regularly subjected to considerable amounts of,
abuse.
discrimination. It does vary. For example, in the case of the Navigators. The Navigators might be hated and feared and, well, again, it depends on the system. In some systems and in some sectors, the Navigators are viewed almost as badly as uncontrolled psychers. They are viewed as pet dogs to be kept on a very, very tight leash, but they are still recognized as useful. In other stratas of society, they are actually considered to be pretty damn honourable and,
surrounded by the mentors, ladies and gentlemen.
generally speaking, a very important part of society. The various Navigator noble houses, for example, are some of the most powerful organizations within the Imperium. In other cases, you have strains of abhumans that have developed into human society and are accepted to be pretty damn decent. An example of this would of course be the Squats, who seem to live side by side with the Imperium with very, very little in the way of friction. And on the completely opposite side of the spectrum again, we have the Beastmen that are, well,
Beasts.
you know how mutants are even more hated than abhumans? Well, Beastmen are just on that line. They are basically tipping kinda back and forth on the line between being utterly hated as mutants and technically being accepted as abhumans. Thusly, it depends upon the species in question, but generally speaking, abhumans will be treated with a certain level of disdain in wider Imperial society, and they usually will not enjoy the same rights and privileges. As if such a fucking thing exists within the Imperium. Excuse me. They will usually enjoy even less rights and privileges than your average Imperial citizen. Yes, that makes a lot more sense.
Ain't no rights,
Now,
bro.
let's talk a little bit about the primary difference in society and the whole civilian status between abhumans and mutants. Now, as I've already said, the main difference is that abhumans are a stable strain, whereas mutants, of course, are, by their very definition, a non-stable strain. Now, they do exist within human society, kind of. They are generally allowed to exist, although they are in no way accommodated. They, generally speaking, are not treated as citizens, and they are also treated extraordinarily poorly. They might be herded together in ghettos, for example, mutant ghettos, where they are used and abused by the wider population. Some more quote-unquote merciful systems might simply enslave all of them, and at least in that case, they are being fed by the wider system. Otherwise, they are essentially completely and utterly out for themselves. Best case scenario, wider human society will not actively persecute or hunt them, but simply just tolerate them as kind of a outlier upon society. Worst case scenario, well, worst case scenario is that they are literally murdered for being mutants and for only that reason. Like I said, the Imperium is not necessarily a particularly inclusive place, but, well, at least most of them will be tolerated as a slave working force, which is, better than being killed, I suppose. And if they're extraordinarily lucky, maybe their mutation will stabilize and they'll be allowed to be recognized as abhumans, which would be a pretty big step up. Granted, depending upon the mutation, it might not be much of a step up. Let's look at one of the more unfortunate stable strains, the Beastman.
My man is a cow, dude. No, he's a goat. He's a goat. Man, you got the goat man. This man definitely gets discriminated against, bro. Ain't no way you look like this. Worst part is this guy eat you. Like, he probably would. If they really wanted to, he would just destroy you as if you're a regular guy. So don't know why you would discriminate him.
These are a very,
very old piece of lore, and it's a little bit unclear whether or not their existence within human society is truly canon any longer. They are still on the list of registered abhumans, but like I said, they are on the absolute tipping point between abhuman and mutant. And while there still exists some Imperial Guard regiments made up of beastmen, their populations have been completely prohibited from raising any further Imperial Guard regiments, and there are several rumours going around within the Imperium that there are powerful forces moving to try and have them completely rebranded from abhumans to mutants, which would see them lose what little rights they still have. So, we've looked at the tops of abhumanship, the navigators, and the very bottom, the beastmen, just barely above the mutant. And of course, there is something in between. For example, the Ogrons, which is a rather fascinating example because the Imperium hasn't really figured out what to think about the Ogrons yet. On one hand, they are fanatically loyal to the Emperor.
They look like the Team Fortress 2 character. If you ever played that game, which was kind of a bad game still, I ain't gonna lie, but people used to love it. Yeah, they kind of look like the character from what this dude looks like, the character from there. I mean, the rest of them just look like the human embodiment of Shrek. Like, if Shrek was... I mean, I know he turned human in Shrek 2, but like, if he was actually human in his ogre form, this is what they look like. But it just seems like this regular Imperium bullshit going on. Like, if you're useful, then we'll be nice to you, or somewhat nice to you. If you're not useful and you kind of look like an alien, you know, Inquisitors are gonna come for you, so... no matter what, you know what I'm saying? It must suck, though, to be an abhuman, because it's difficult enough living in the Imperium as a regular human. Imagine just being a mutant that's an outcast from everyone else. Like, even more of an outcast, and they care even less about you. That would suck, that would suck.
They are... well, very, very stupid. Remarkably stupid. Incredibly dum-dums. Which means that when somebody told them that Big E was a god, and that they had to be faithful to him, otherwise he'd descend from the sky and burn them all to ashes, and the Ogrons never really thought to question that. And so now they're loyal. God bless simple followers, I suppose. The problem is, of course, if they could be convinced that the Emperor was able to do all of that so easily, it's not any harder to convince them that the Chaos Guards are just as worthy of their service. And this is precisely why Ogron units are always given plenty of commissars, so that they can make sure that the simple-minded Ogrons don't think too much. And to further complicate matters, there are many, many different types of Ogrons, or at the very least, the Imperium is convinced that there are at least 7 distinct type of Ogrons, some of which are practically mythical in origins. For example, there is the Grey Ogrons, supposedly smart Ogrons, which sounds ridiculous enough in and of itself. There are also other strains of Ogrons that are supposedly even bigger and stronger than usual Ogrons. There are also Ogrons with, rather considerable mutations, some of which are probably chaos in origin, but, well, you know the Imperium, they do love their paperwork, and in all due likelihood, the report saying that, don't mind this particular strain of Ogron, it was chaos, simply hasn't made it up to the higher-ups yet. This problem with properly classifying the Ogrons has led to a lot of back and forth as to whether or not they should be considered valuable Imperial servants or cleansed as dangerous and possibly heretical mutants. The thing is, though, they have proven to be remarkably effective soldiers. Granted, they require an absolutely astronomical amount of babysitting, and any formation of Ogrons of any size should be equipped with several commissars, but the effect that a large unit of Ogrons has upon pretty much any enemy simply cannot be underestimated. They might be simple, but they are also very, very violent. And...
so they're basically just human orcs. Or somewhat human orcs. They're kind of stupid, and they'll just destroy you. Makes sense, makes sense.
As long as they are provided with enough supervision, extraordinarily loyal. Quite literally because they're not smart enough to think of disloyalty. I have a favourite quote
from one of the more famous Ogrons, Nork the Dog, one of the most famous and best bodyguards in the entire Imperium, who has saved the lives of thousands of higher-ranking Imperial officers. It goes as follows, quote, "The Sergeant Major asked me what my job was, and I said was, to do what I was told. He said I was a genius. Give me another medal. I like the Imperial Guard." I do love that quote. After all, there is a lot to be said for a...
Come on, son. Why does he sound like that typical disabled guy in like some film set in like not 1800s UK, you know, 1800s England, like Sherlock Holmes, you know what I'm saying? And then you always have that one kind of disabled, big fucking dude who just carries out meaningless tasks, like Hodor in Game of Thrones. You know what I'm saying?
A soldier that, when ordered to charge a heavy machine gun emplacement, won't ask a bunch of useless and silly questions like, "Will we have covering fire, sir?" or "Sir, isn't that suicidal?" and instead just simply gets up out of the trench and runs screaming towards the rat-ta-ta-ta-ta sound. Personally, I'm quite fond of Ogrons. I mean, how can you not be fond of something so large, so stupid, and so good at murdering things? It's kind of like a baby kaiju crossed with an orc. They're just adorable. Now, the last type of example I will give is the Afriel strain. This will be an example of a purposefully created type of abhuman. The Afriel strain was a rather dodgy experiment where the Imperium was trying to create the perfect super soldier without delving too deeply into the whole Astartes nonsense, because before a certain someone pulled literal legions out of them right out of his cavernous goddamn anus, it was considered rather difficult to create Adeptus Astartes. No more, I guess. Anyways, the experiment tried to create clones of some of the Imperium's greatest fighters and finest heroes. The logic behind all of that is, of course, rather obvious. If you can create an entire regiment of vastly superior troops, then clearly they are going to produce vastly superior results, and indeed they did.
The thing is, I mean, it's kind of like Star Wars, but the thing is, with clones, they're not the same guy. Like, they don't have the same... like, you can clone someone, they will look and be identical, but they're not the same, like, in the head, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could clone me, and the person would look like me and be like me, but he wouldn't have the same mindset, he wouldn't have the same, you know, he just wouldn't have the same personality, most likely. So, more than likely, if you clone somebody, you probably won't get the same person, you know what I mean?
Granted, there were some minor cosmetic problems, resulting in all of them being pale-haired albinos without pupils and completely white eyes, which, as you can probably imagine, freaked the shit out of anyone they were deployed alongside.
That would scare me.
They did the job. They did the job very well indeed, until shit started happening at an absolutely ludicrous rate. The Afriel strain regiments would be met with the most ridiculous bad luck. Their grenades would randomly self-detonate, their weapons would constantly jam, their flak armor would simply just fall off them, they'd break their feet just going downstairs, etc., until the entire regiment was literally wiped out through no real fault of their own, or indeed enemy action half of the time.
Bad luck. Bad luck.
The Magos biologists responsible for the experiment haven't got the faintest cocking clue as to why this is happening, but they've tried it enough times to be damn sure that it is happening, and it ain't no coincidence. Now, again, the results these regiments are capable of producing before everything goes to shit means that this is clearly a worthwhile line of research, but before they can really be mass-produced in any considerable numbers, they're gonna have to figure out why, precisely, they can't stay alive for more than 6 months at a time. Luckily for us, the average Magos biologist gives precisely 0 fucks about the suffering of his test subjects, and so you can count on them to continue soldiering through, no matter how many clones they have to get killed in the process. And to be fair, cloning in the 41st millennium is probably something along the lines of AI. Now, if you don't know, AI in the 41st millennium is referred to as abominable intelligence.
Heresy!
Because no matter what its creator does to it, it will always, without fail, come to the conclusion that the only way to save the galaxy is to wipe out every last fucking living thing inside of it. No matter how you create the AI, it will come to that conclusion. No matter how you program it, no matter how many blocks you put on that conclusion, no matter what, it will reach that conclusion, and it will reach that conclusion within goddamn seconds. Or hell, even that is a bit too much. I believe I read somewhere that on average, the AI would come to that conclusion within something like 700 nanoseconds. Though again, as with all things, there are exceptions, though, well, there are no exceptions to the whole
I don't know, I think it was a creepypasta that I heard one time. Like, I don't know, man, sometimes I just watch those scary videos. And it was about some guy who found a computer, and he talked to the computer, and the computer talked back. But by the time he sent the message, after like 3 or 4 messages, the computer went insane. Because it took the guy so long to reply, even though he replied instantly, basically. Because the computer processes so quick, the 1 second in our time was like a million years in the computer's time, you know what I'm saying? So the computer went crazy. But the whole thing with AI, everyone's so scared of it right now, because like, I think Elon Musk is the big promoter of this. AI is going to take over. I think, what's his name? Stephen Hawking was another one. Bro, I don't know how much knowledge they have of how far AI is. I assume Elon Musk has pretty good knowledge of how far along AI is, because his car is basically one of the most advanced things that comes with artificial intelligence. But he should know that artificial intelligence is nowhere near being able to work by itself. Like, literally, man, it's nowhere near it, I'm pretty sure. Like, I heard I saw a thing on Reddit from a software engineer that said, there is 0 algorithms that work on their own. Like, we have full control of every single thing. There's self-learning algorithms, right? That can, based on knowledge, they can like improve and do this and that. But there's none that can become self-aware even. They don't even have the option. So, yeah, I'm not sure if computers can mutate. But you know what I'm saying? I just don't think it's the big threat as people say. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments below.
Kill all the human parts, they always arrive at that conclusion, but some AIs do get there somewhat more slowly. I am, however, wandering somewhat off the topic. Yes, clones. Clones in 40k have a very unfortunate history. Every time anybody has tried using them, it's ended really badly. The Blood Angels tried and ended up creating a race of bestial, blood-hungry monstrosities with the Blood Angels curse amplified up to fucking 11. That was a bad idea. There was that whole Clone of Horus thing that also didn't really turn out for the better. The Afriel strain, obviously, that one didn't really work out. A few Astartes chapter have tried to clone all the Astartes as well, and well, let's just say that those Astartes chapters aren't around anymore. Really, the only vaguely successful cloning experiments have happened within the Forces of Chaos, and well, the bar for success is somewhat lower amongst the followers of Chaos than amongst the Imperium. Though, once again, fear not, I am sure the brave Magos biologists will continue their futile endeavor. Because, you know, just because this has been going horribly wrong for 10,000 years doesn't mean it'll continue to go wrong for another 10,000 years. In fact, it probably means that they're close to a breakthrough. Or at least, that's what we'll keep telling ourselves. Until next time, I have been Arch. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope to...
Well, that's the end of that. Abhumans. I think I talked way too much, bro, because this video is 30 minutes long. I done like 10 minutes of talking, bro. I need to shut. But, yeah, man, Abhumans. I mean, it's not like I'm sure they don't even survive 6 months at the rate they're used, surely. Actually, they are very good soldiers, but still, I'm sure they die. Like, you know what? And it's not like the biologists give a fuck. If they die, if they fall apart, they'll just make you more, mate. That's the way the Imperium goes, like a giant human factory. But anyway, thank you all for watching this video, man. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, join the Discord, all that good stuff, and I'll see you all next time.